Hi, this is Elaine. Today's story's all about a boy called Sleepy Joe. Now, he was called Sleepy Joe because he was always tired, grumpy, unhappy. Not having enough good sleep can make you feel bad, and sometimes those negative thoughts and feelings can take over. I'm here to help you feel good and more positive, and of course, help you to sleep. I'm too hot. I'm too cold. This bed's too soft. It's too hard. It's too lumpy. It's too flat. All Sleepy Joe could do was complain. Every night he lay awake thinking about all the reasons he couldn't sleep. I feel sad, I feel grumpy, I feel tired. Mumble, mumble, mumble. The next day his mum called for him to get up and go to school. And he dragged his legs out of bed, muttering under his breath, I'm too tired, it's too cold, it's too dark. And as he pulled on his school clothes, he continued, this is too tight, that's too short, this is too green, that's too heavy, mutter, mutter, mutter. And you can see that Sleepy Joe was not very happy. In fact, he was not enjoying his life at all. His best friends at school are Millie and Billy and Tilly. But even your best friends get fed up when you complain all the time, right? As Sleepy Joe leaves the house, Billy is waiting for him at the corner of the street. Come on, Joe, we'll be late for school. This bag's too heavy, my hands are too cold, mutter, mutter, mutter. As Joe walked with his head down alongside his friend Billy. They arrived at the classroom and he found his seat next to Millie. Hi, Joe, she said. This desk is too high, my pen is too dry, the light is too bright, grumbled Joe. Mutter, mutter, mutter. And as the day went on, Joe was becoming more and more tired, and by lunchtime, his head nearly fell into his bowl of soup. Tilly joined him at lunch. Hi, Joe, how are you? This soup is too spicy, it's too hot, I'm too tired. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Now, Mrs Plonk, Joe's teacher, noticed that this was a bad day for Joe, and she asked him to stay back after school. So, Joe, what's going on with you? You don't seem to be yourself, she said in a caring voice. And Joe started to complain about the classroom being too cold, the desk was too high, the pen was too dry. Joe, she said, stop. Joe looked up at Mrs Plonk and wondered what she was talking about. Joe, she said, you spend all your time being grumpy and complaining, all your time focusing on all the negative things. You are so missing out on all the good and positive things in your life. Joe was surprised and a little bit confused. I'm just telling people how I feel, he said. And I'm so tired. And he dropped his head in his hands. It's It's okay, Joe. I think I know how to help you. You see, I remember you being a very happy and positive boy, so maybe the fact that you can't sleep is making you feel grumpy. She sat Joe down and gave him a glass of water. There's a special place that not many people know about, Joe. It's called Bedland. And it's a long, long way from here. When I was about your age, I also could not sleep, so my mum arranged for me to see Mr. Stumbleskin. He's the boss at Bedland. Joe sat up and listened as Mrs. Plonk told him about this magical place. Yes, but it's too far. I'm too scared. Stop, said Mrs. Plonk. You need to think about all the things that you can do. The positive things, Joe. Like, you can get there. You are ready to sleep. You want to play. You want to have fun and feel really good. That's what you need to be saying to yourself. Joe sat up a little straighter as he listened to his teacher. He really liked her. She was kind and she was very wise. Mrs. Plonk went over to a cupboard and brought out a large green box with a shiny gold padlock. She took a key out of her pocket and opened the box. She pulled out what looked like a rug. It was all sorts of colours, reds and burgundies and pink and orange, green and white. She shook it out and laid it on the floor. Joe, this is a magic flying rug and this will take you to Bedland. Now Joe was starting to get really interested now. A magic flying rug, he said. Woohoo! I really like that. And it's very beautiful, isn't it? He said. Yes, said Mrs. Plonk. It is also very old and very powerful, Joe. All you have to do is sit on it and the rug will take you to Bedland and Mr. Stumbleskin. You see, Joe, she said, a long time ago my bed was too hard, too soft, too high and too low. I felt sad and angry and grumpy and scared just like you. Until I went to Bedland and everything changed. Oh my goodness, said Joe, feeling a mixture of excitement and just a little bit scared. Joe noticed a sound coming from the window and saw a black and white cat trying to get in. Ah, yes, said Mrs. Plonk, you need to meet Matilda. And she opened the window and Matilda the cat jumped in, landing on the table on all fours, purring. Hello, said Matilda. Joe was taken aback. You can speak, he said. Of course I can, she said as she stretched out on the table. Where the magic rug goes, I go, she said. She settled down, curled up like a fluffy ball. Joe looked at Mrs. Plonk. So she goes with the rug, he said. Yes, said Mrs. Plonk. Matilda will look after you and the rug to make sure you get back safely. She has been the keeper of the rug for many hundreds of years. And she also is a magic cat. Anything you need, she will help you with. This made Joe feel a little better, that there was somebody to help him. He hadn't liked the idea of going on this journey on his own, you see. So are you ready for the journey, Joe? Said Mrs Plonk. I will call your mum just to let her know that you will be late home. Come on, Matilda, up you get. Matilda stretched a big stretch and hopped on the rug. Here you go, Matilda. Now, Joe, you can sit here. Joe got comfortable and the rug started to rise into the air. Bye-bye and take care, shouted Mrs Plonk, as the rug zoomed up into the air. This is so cool, shouted Joe. Up, 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 high into the air. And as he looked down, he saw the mountain ranges, he saw lakes and rivers and seas, he saw vast plains of sand and trees and grass, cities and villages. And then eventually the rug started to move down, down, down. And Joe saw a big sign that said Bedland. Okay, said Matilda. We're just about to land. As they came into land, all Joe could see was hundreds and thousands of beds, little beds and big beds and narrow beds and wide beds and bunk beds, beds everywhere. And at the gate was an unusual looking man. He was quite small and very round, and he had big rosy cheeks and a very kind face. Welcome, he shouted. Welcome, Joe. Joe had never seen anything like this in his life, all those beds. Come on, said Matilda. I'll look after the rug. And I'll join you in a minute. You go see Mr. Stumbleskin. Now Mr. Stumbleskin grabbed Joe's hand and said, Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm here to help you sleep the best sleep of your life, he said. That's my job. Come, come. And he led Joe and Matilda into the maze of beds. Now, let's see, he said. He looked at Joe's height, how much he weighed, how long his legs are. And he pointed to one bed. He said, Okay, try this one, Joe. Joe jumped on it and thought, whoa, this is amazing. It was so comfortable. No, said Mr. Stumbleskin. This one here I think is better, Joe. So Joe moved over and sure enough it was even more comfortable. Matilda jumped up too. And she said, Yes, this is perfect, Joe. As Joe lay there thinking, it's not too hard, it's not too soft, it's not too high, and it's definitely not too low. It's not too lumpy and it's not too flat. Oh my goodness, yes, I think this is it, said Joe. It's perfect, he sighed. Mr. Stumbleskin smiled the biggest smile. I'm here to please, he said. Now, before you go, Joe, you and Matilda can have a little sleep in your new bed. That would be so good, said Joe. as by now he was getting really, really tired. He snuggled up, pulling the covers up. Mr. Stumbleskin dimmed the lights. Joe noticed that Matilda was already asleep. He also noticed that he wasn't thinking any negative thoughts anymore. He was happy, he was tired, and he felt very safe. As he felt himself slipping deeper and deeper into an easy sleep, a comfortable sleep, moving towards his dreams now. He dreams of playing with his best friends, Millie and Billy and Tilly. They're running and jumping and swimming and riding their bikes. He has so much energy. They're laughing and joking, and eventually he just looks around and starts to feel grateful for the friendship of his friends, grateful for the clean air that he can smell, for all the beautiful plants and trees and grass, for the sky, for the animals, for his family. He loves this dream. And then slowly he awakens feeling so much better. His mind is so much clearer. He feels refreshed and really happy, so very happy. Mr. Stumbleskin ties the bed to the magic rug, and Joe and Matilda jump on ready for the journey home. Joe did not have the words to say a big enough thank you to Mr. Stumbleskin, but he tried anyway. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. And he started to wave as the rug lifted off the ground and into the air, higher and higher and higher in the sky, until the beds of Bedland looked so small. Zooming up over the valleys and the fields, the deserts, the waterways, the hills and the towns, and soon they could see the roof of the school. Mrs. Plonk was in the playground waving at them, and the rug landed in front of Mrs. Plonk. "Hi, Joe, I see you have your bed," she said, smiling. She remembered what a magical moment it was when she got her bed all those years ago. "Now the rug will take the bed to your house, Joe. I called your mum and she's waiting for you, and Matilda will bring the rug back here." "Thank you, Mrs. Plonk, for everything," Joe said, with a little tear in his eye, because he just knew that life was going to be so much better now. He felt so good. Soon he sees his house and his mum is waiting. She helps him put the bed into his bedroom. It looks fantastic. It looks so perfect. Their mum said, "There are some people here to see you, Joe." His three best friends, Billy, Millie and Tilly, are all waiting for him. Hugs all around, so happy to see each other, so happy for their special friendship. Joe told them about his adventure and told them he was so happy that they were still his friends, even though he used to be a very grumpy boy and not a good friend, but that he was going to try so much harder now. Eventually they left to go home, and it was time for bed. Joe was so ready to sleep, so ready to get into this amazing, perfect bed. And as Joe's head hit the pillow, he felt himself moving into a deep and relaxing sleep. Any worries he had are gone. So easy to sleep in this perfect bed. So sleepy. So deep. Night night.